I live in a 2 BHK apartment in Mumbai, and last month my electricity bill was 7,672 rupees. How much was your electricity bill last month?
Quite high.
Around 1200.
1,500 2,500
67,000.
5,000 रुपए लाइट बिल आया था। इतना नहीं आने का उससे ज्यादा आता।
I don't use AC. I switch off the lights when I leave the room and I unplug the TV at night. I did everything my father used to do to save the electricity bill. Still, when the bill comes, it keeps increasing every month. Why is the electricity bill so high in India even though Indians are obsessed with saving electricity? What all do you do in your house to save electricity?
We don't use the appliances.
Yes, we follow some good practices of when you leave one room, put off the light.
Not using a particular component in my house, I would prefer to turn it off.
पंखा कम करो, पंखा बंद करो, लाइट बंद करो, सब
रात के समय बंद कर देते हैं। फ्रिज खोलने से लाइट बिल बढ़ता है।
Because we know that electricity is going to cost us only.
I did some research and found out you're not just paying for the electricity that you use, you're also paying for the electricity that the government is wasting. In all of Asia, India has the lowest electricity production cost. Means compared to the other Asian countries, India produces electricity with way less money. But still, the bill for the average Indian consumer is painfully high. Have you ever felt that you're paying more electricity bill than for what you're using actually?
Yes, and we have complained. They came and checked and all, and they said everything's fine. Now, what is fine and how it is fine, that they are not able to convince us.
इतना लाइट बिल क्यों बढ़ा रहे हो? हम लोग गरीब लोग क्या करें?
लाइट बिल लगता है, कहाँ से भरेगा हम?
हम लोग का बिजनेस भी इतना छोटा है, तो हम लोग किधर से पैसा भरेंगे इतना?
We have no choice, but we have to pay for that. We can't change that system.
Yeah. When electricity is generated at a power plant, it costs around 3.5 rupees per unit. That's the actual cost of making electricity. But by the time it reaches your meter, you're paying around 8 to 11 rupees per unit. Your father keeps saying, "Arey, switch off the fan, switch off the AC, don't use the geyser." But what if I tell you you're not careless? You're just stuck in a system that pushes its own mistakes onto you. Every year, India loses 16% of all electricity generated before it even reaches people's homes. That's 290 billion units. To put that in perspective, that's more electricity than what Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar consumes combined in 1 year. And who pays for that electricity? You do. In 2010, an average Indian household paid around 500 rupees for the electricity bill. Today, in 2025, it's around 2,500 rupees. That's 5 times higher. But what if I tell you that some people have escaped the system and are literally paying almost nothing for the electricity they use?
And we are getting 90 rupees monthly bill.
How is this happening? How come I pay 7,000 rupees but he pays just 90 rupees? In India, when electricity is generated at a power plant, it costs around 3.5 rupees per unit. That's the actual cost of making electricity. But by the time the same electricity reaches your meter, you're paying 8 to 11 rupees per unit. The electricity did not suddenly become more expensive. The journey did. Let me show you how exactly the system works. Imagine you order 10 pizza from a restaurant. The delivery person starts there with 10 pizza, but by the time they reach your house, only 6 pizzas are left. Some fell on the road, some were stolen, some just disappeared. But when the bill comes, you still pay for the 10 pizzas. That's exactly how electricity works in India. Electricity is made in a power plant. That plant can be 500 kilometers away from your house. From there, electricity travels through big high voltage lines. Then it comes down to smaller distribution lines. Then it passes through the transformers, substations, local wires, and finally reaches your meter. At every stage, some electricity is lost because of heat, high resistance, overloaded wires, faulty meters, and even power theft. In many places, this infrastructure has not been upgraded since 1980s, and because of these old leaky systems, nearly 16% of your electricity disappears before it even reaches your meter. And in the end, you are the one who pays for that loss. Let me show you my electricity bill because this is where things get very clear. This month my total bill is 7,672 rupees. Now listen to this carefully. How much did I actually pay for the electricity that I used? The actual power I used cost me only 3,775 rupees. That's the energy charge. Out of 7,672 rupees, only 3,775 rupees is for the power I actually consume. That's less than 50% of my total bill. Now let me show you where the rest of the money went. Fixed charge, 410 rupees. This is the fee just for having electricity connection. Even if I use 0 units, I still have to pay this. And next, wheeling charges, 1,617 rupees. Electricity is made far away. It travels through transmission lines, substations, transformers and local wires. This 1,617 rupees is the rent I pay for using those wires. I don't own them. I did not build them, but I have to pay for them every month. Next, power purchase adjustment, 704 rupees. This is the fuel adjustment charge. If coal price goes up anywhere in the world, my bill will also go up immediately. I have no control over the coal markets, no control over the global prices, but I pay for every fluctuation. This month, that cost me 704 rupees. And then electricity duty, 1,041 rupees. This is a tax on electricity. Electricity is a basic need, and yet the government takes 1,041 rupees from my bill as a duty. That's almost the cost of another small household's full bill. And then you have state tax on electricity. That's 143 rupees. On top of electricity duty, there is another tax. So yes, a tax on top of tax. Then I got a small digital payment discount of 16 rupees and an adjustment of 10 rupees that barely changes anything. Out of 7,672 rupees, 3,775 rupees was my actual electricity I used, and 3,897 rupees for wires, losses, fuel hikes, taxes, duties, all system costs. So almost half of my bill is not for electricity. Only 50% of your bill is for your power, and the remaining 50% is for the system. And every month, the system sends you the bill. And here's the part that should actually make you feel concerned. The system is not getting any better. It is actually getting worse. Right now, the power distribution companies across India owe 5.81 lakh crore rupees to power generators. That's a massive debt of over 5 lakh crore, enough to fund India's entire education budget for several years. And that debt is being recovered from your pocket every single month. Families fight over who left the lights on, who used the geyser for too long, who forgot to switch off the fan. Indian middle class family has AC in their house, but they never use them. People buy appliances and then feel guilty about using them. This is what expensive electricity does. It turns a basic need into a luxury. Now, how do you fix it? How come some people pay as low as 90 rupees, but you and me end up paying in thousands? And the answer is simple. The system is lagging behind, and no amount of switching off the fans is going to fix it. You cannot solve a system problem with the individual action. The only way to fix this is to step outside the system entirely. So I did a case study. If the problem is the journey of the electricity, then what happens when you remove the journey? What if the electricity did not have to travel 500 kilometers to reach your home? What if it was made right there on your roof where you need it? For the first time in our history, that's actually possible. Power doesn't have to come from a plant 500 kilometers away. It can come from the sun right above your head on your roof. And here's the thing about sunlight. It's free. It's everywhere. It doesn't discriminate. A rich person's roof and a poor person's roof get the same sunlight. A city home and a village home get the same energy from the sun. For once, the source of power is equal and available to everyone. And the question is, are you going to use it? Most people think solar means panels, technology, or being very eco-friendly. But that's not the real point. Solar is actually about ownership. Today, you're only renting the electricity. You pay the bill and electricity comes, you use it, it's gone, and then you pay again. But the rent keeps rising every year. You don't control anything, you don't own anything there. But solar changes that. When you install solar, you're not just using less electricity, you are changing where your electricity comes from. You stop being someone who rents power and you become someone who produces and owns power. And that realization hit me very hard. So I've been talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The kind of money they're spending for the electricity is crazy. So when was the moment that you think that, oh, we should get the solar for our house? Like when did you decide that, oh, we should get it?
Last year, October, madam.
But how much was the bill that you were getting before solar?
Before solar, we used to get 2 to 3,000 monthly.
How many years
2
back
meters,
before?
just last year.
Just last year. Okay, now how much bill you're
After
getting?
fixing this, 3 kV is this, and we are getting 90 rupees monthly bill.
90 rupees.
90.
That's how much approximately a middle class family spends on a chai in a day, and he's paying that as a monthly electricity bill. But everything sounds good when you talk about it as a theory, but I wanted to know if it actually works on the ground. What happens after you install solar? What are the real problems that people face? So I spoke to real people who had switched to solar, a home, a society, and a business. You have a system that produces electricity on your terrace.
Right.
Do you face any issues having it on your terrace?
From last 1 year, madam, it's last November we fixed it. More than 1 year, I think, nothing, no issues till now.
No issues,
No
absolutely.
issues, absolutely.
One common belief that people have is, oh, it's producing electricity. How can we have it on our terrace? What if my kids touch it by mistake? What if something bad happens? But is it safe to
Yeah,
be
it's
even
safe.
come to here?
It's
It's very natural to worry about high voltage equipment on your roof, but modern solar systems are designed to be as safe as any other home appliances you use. The panels and wires are fully insulated and weatherproof, so nothing on the outside is live or dangerous. The system is properly grounded, and if there's any fault, it automatically shuts itself down. So you can literally touch the panels with your bare hands and nothing will happen. The only place where you have to be careful is that inverter on the fuse box. It's like your main electricity board. Don't touch it, don't open it, and let the trained technician handle it. And the big revolution is the Indian government now supports rooftop solar with cash subsidies, so it's very cheaper to install. Under the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, the households can literally get direct financial help up to around 30,000 rupees per kilowatt for small systems and up to 78,000 rupees total for a 3 kilowatt system. So how much subsidy you get?
78,000 we got within 3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks you got the subsidy. It's like you
Central
paid the
government.
money and then you got
Yeah,
the refund.
yeah.
This money is paid straight into your bank account after the installation, and the idea is to help the ordinary families to cut their power bills with solar instead of renting electricity. So how did you get the subsidy? It's like too much government ka process, no?
What we have done is with Freyr Energy. So they are in solar panels from last 10 years.
Whole thing.
Everything they took care.
The Freyr Energy,
Freyr
everything took care.
everything, paperwork, central government, whatever the permissions they want.
Did you had to go to any government offices, fill forms?
No,
Obviously,
only I got, they got the papers, I got signed.
in your house.
Yeah, 3 weeks they completed done. And subsidy also we got in 3 weeks.
When your solar panels produce more electricity than what you use in your house, that extra power goes back to the government's power grid, and in return, that extra power is adjusted in your next bill, so you pay less money or sometimes nothing at all. See how cool that is. You're not just producing electricity for yourself, you're also supplying for the government as well. How do you know this system is producing you this much electricity?
We got an app,
Okay.
Freyr Energy app. In
Okay.
that we how much produced, how much consumed,
Okay.
and what your savings. Everything will be in the app. This is my residence 3.5 kV. This is the production, and this is the savings.
How much you save?
Save, yeah. And this is monthly production. Every day-wise production is
How much electricity and how much money he saves
Saved.
today. Over time, dust collects on solar panels. When that happens, the panels don't get full sunlight. So less sunlight means less electricity. So this particular company, Freyr Energy, brilliantly came up with a solution.
they got a sprinkler system. It's automatically every day it cleans. It has sensors, everything.
So you don't have to do anything.
Nothing,
It will
only-
clean by
yeah.
itself. See how amazing is that? The sprinkler system automatically cleans the panel. So there is no need for manual cleaning. And because the panels stay stay clean, the system works more efficiently. Let's say this lasts for 30 years.
30 years.
Just give me, like, it's my calculation. Just give me an idea how much money are you saving just from the solar panel in a year?
Around 30 to 35,000, madam.
30 to 35,000.
Yeah.
So in that case, remaining 20 to 25 years, you are getting electricity for free.
Yeah, that is true.
That's amazing. Okay, let's do some simple math. This uncle invested around 2 lakh rupees for a solar system, and before solar, his monthly electricity bill was around 2 to 3,000 rupees. Let's take an average and say it was 2,500 rupees. Out of the 2 lakh that he invested, he got 78,000 rupees back as government subsidy, and he got his money back in just 3 weeks. So now his actual investment becomes 1,20,000 rupees. Earlier, he was paying 2,500 rupees every month for electricity. That means in 1 year, he would spend around 30,000 rupees. After installing solar, his electricity bill is almost zero. So he's saving 30,000 rupees every year, and in 4 years, he recovers the full 1,20,000 rupees that he invested. And these solar panels from the Freyr comes with the 30-year warranty. So for the remaining 26 years, he is using electricity for almost free. Next, I went to a large housing society where 600 families were living together. Installing solar for a society is 10 times more complicated than installing it for a home.
The biggest challenge was to get a general body approval. People are going to say, oh, you're going to take 1.25 crores from the society corpus fund. So, how are we sure that, this will work? We have to convince there are, 500 people around here. So
You need approval from 500 families, you need coordination, you need transparency, and you need a vendor that can handle a large-scale installation without creating any issues.
at least 6 to 7 companies we contacted. We had technical bids from at least about 5 companies. So first thing, we froze on the technical criteria, what we want, how a system should be. Freyr Energy was well versed, very well responding, guided us also through the process. I think in the price wise also they turn out to be one of the most competitive. So going with Freyr Energy would be the best solution.
See, when you're investing 1.2 crore rupees and you're responsible for 500 families, you gotta be little more careful with every decision. That's where the Freyr Energy comes in. First, they give you 3D rooftop design so you can clearly understand the structure and all the technical details in advance. And second, they handle the entire project end to end. From the start to finish, Freyr takes care of everything. And third, the financial structure actually made sense. It would have costed more than a crore for all the setup.
Correct.
Do you think it's a wise investment because such a big money?
We spent about 1.2 crores, few lakhs here and there, and I think we are roughly saving about 30 lakhs a year.
Damn.
Yeah.
So in a span of 4 years, you'll get all that money back.
Yes. But yeah, choose the right vendor. That is a place you have to spend time. Choose the right vendor, right technology. So we found the civil work nicely finished. So that confidence we got from Freyr.
One rooftop changed the financial future of 500 families, and solar at the society level is not just about saving money, it is about showing people that change is possible and that the system can be challenged. Then I met a business owner, an industrial equipment supplier. Running such a big factory, why did you make the decision to switch to the solar panel?
Power is the most important resource. A small and a medium-sized company like ours, this became a very expensive thing for us. So as a result, we wanted to shift ourselves conventional method. We thought, why not try solar? So that's how we got into solar.
For him, electricity was not just about a household expense, it was a business cost, and in business, every paisa matters. How long it actually took to install the whole thing?
Only about 1.5 or 2 months maximum. Catch here is the permissions took some time. Freyr did a fabulous job in doing everything. So they did from getting the permissions, and they also did help us in getting loans. And the third thing is having an kind of an beautiful maintenance. That is more important for these solar panels on a longer run. They need to be maintained well. So they did a fabulous job in that way.
The amount of money that you were spending on electricity before solar and after solar?
From day one, 35 to 40% of power savings, which is really good. So when you take a ROI to it, Usually, on a conservative way, 4 to 5 years is when you can get that money within a span of 5 years. We were successful in getting it in less than 3 years, I would say. In small and medium-sized scale companies, would they take this? I would say yes.
So one thing is clear. Solar works. I've seen it work for homes, societies and businesses. But here's the truth, when solar is done properly, it can completely change your life. But when solar is done the wrong way, it can completely ruin it as well. So I wanted to understand this little better. What is the real difference? What separates a solar system that lasts for 30 years and from the one that fails at just 5 years? So the next question is, why can't I just get it done from a local vendor?
Am I getting the best quality system that will last me for 25 years? And am I going to have a company that will support me through this next 25-year journey of the solar system?
Solar systems are meant to last for many years, but that only happens when the quality is good. Very cheap panels, inverters, wires and structures often don't survive the Indian heat, wind and power conditions. They break down faster. Sometimes the whole system stops working, and sometimes it even creates safety issues. So in solar, cutting costs the wrong way is kind of dangerous. It ends up costing you more later than doing the job properly the first time. But still, it's the initial putting in 2 lakhs is a big investment. You know, it's not going to be easy for my parents who are earning 30,000 rupees a month. Do you guys have any system to assist lower middle class or middle class families?
One of the best things that is available today, which a lot of people don't know about, you can own a solar system for 1,500 rupees a month, and that same solar system will save 3,000 rupees a month in energy bills for you. From day one, you're actually making 1,500 rupees a month by putting up a solar system on your roof. I think anyone who decides to wait on this is just wasting money.
So all the public sector banks, mandatory for them to give loans against this product, pre-approved with just very limited paperwork. Up to 2 lakh loans, no questions asked, you get pre-approved, right? Under very rare circumstances, they may say no depending on the feasibility. Otherwise, 100% loan is being offered towards solar. So no down payment.
So basically, you take a loan for solar and your monthly EMI is around 1,500 rupees. Before solar, your electricity bill was around 3,000 rupees. Now that you have solar, you don't have to pay that electricity bill anymore. Out of that 3,000 rupees, you use 1,500 rupees to pay for the solar EMI, and you still have the remaining 1,500 rupees every month from day one. And once that loan is fully paid, you get electricity for almost free for the next 20 to 25 years.
It all sounds so good when we speak, but when you say bank loan, government subsidy, all those things, I could only imagine paperwork.
Beyond the solar part, as a customer, 15 minutes is all we ask for.
You go to buy a car, the car guy is not telling you please figure out your loan. He's ensuring that the person is there. So you go, even your registration, he says, sir, come after 30 days, we'll give you the plates, right? Everything is done in the same experience. So we are ensuring, one, the digitization is happening as much as possible, and the customer intervention is limited. They don't need to worry. And we have a concept of when we give a price to the customer, no hidden charges. It's very important for us that we take care of a solar system without constantly escalating the price. Iske liye extra. It gives a very poor experience to the customer. So we kind of say that one price. Don't worry, it includes installation, it includes maintenance, it includes the warranty, it includes the paperwork, documentation, loan processing, getting your meter changed at your home with the DISCOM, all inclusive. This is the price, you don't worry, and you're safe with Freyr.
That example was really good. When someone buys a car, everything is handled at one place for them. Solar should also work the same way if we want more people to adopt to it. People don't want to spend days running behind banks and offices, right?
For the first time, you have the opportunity as a homeowner to generate and consume your own electricity. Second, it is clean power, helps the environment also, right? Third, it protects you from any kind of increase in power rates for the next 30 years.
See, in my village, electricity is not just about the lights and fans. Most families depend on small scale work like anklet making, and the machines they use run on electricity, which quietly becomes one of the biggest monthly cost. See, when electricity is centrally controlled, you don't really have a say in it. You just adjust to the cost and the system as it is. But for the first time in history, we have another option. We can generate our own electricity without too much complication. Just like a fridge or washing machine or AC works, solar is just one more appliance that gives you electricity. After doing all this research, honestly, I could not find one solid downside. It is affordable. You get government subsidy, you get loans, you pay an EMI and still save money. I genuinely do not understand why more people are not switching to this.
It's good for you, it's good for your pocket, it's good for the environment, and it's good for society. What else do you want?
If you own a house or live in a housing society or a business owner with the access to rooftop space, check the link in the description. You can see how to generate your own electricity and also do something good for the environment. And yes, Freyr Energy is offering a special discount so you can save up to 1 lakh rupees on your solar setup.